Hey there, welcome to Get Real with Your Soul. I'm so glad to be joining you today live. It has been a long time since I've been live, and this is the first time in a really long time that I've gone live on my public page, so welcome in. Thank you to everybody watching live. Thank you to everybody, and welcome to everybody watching the replay. If you're watching from the replay, please be sure to put replay in the comments below. And if this is your first time catching me live, please be sure to put a 1 in the comments so we can welcome you to the Soul Warrior Tribe. So welcome in. Hey Ariel, thanks for joining. I'm gonna go ahead and take 2 seconds to share this to my personal page. How's everybody doing? And if you are new, or if you're part, I should say, if you're part of the Soul Warrior Tribe family, please be sure to drop a 2 in the comments. Thanks for love you. What? Team Soul Warrior Tribe. And so I'm gonna just take a second to share this out with the family. Awesome. So this week we're gonna talk about your... Okay, I cut out for a second. Alright, I kept cutting out, but okay, hopefully we should be good. My internet's been acting kind of weird, but this week we're going to talk about connecting to your higher self. So what exactly is your higher self? And so here's the thing, in the New Age community and with a lot of there's a lot of spiritual politics in regards to the definitions of things, and people get really hung up on defining things and the need to be right and how their perspective or their view is the right way and the correct way. And I'm really not into that. I'm really not here to be part of semantics. So if you're really someone who tends to be really stuck on associating a specific definition with a certain term or with a certain concept, please just go ahead and click off if you have the need to be right. Everything that I share is very much information that I challenge you to discover for yourself and to really connect with your personal truth. And the information that I share are things that are connected to my individual truth, but things that I've also found to be pretty accurate. So from this perspective, some people think that the higher self is separate from the soul, but I believe that the higher self is an extension of your soul. So it is the part of you that is completely aligned. It's the part of you that's free from ego, free from the mental conditioning that we experience in our lifetime, or in this lifetime. I'm gonna take a 2 seconds to share this again, or not. I'm just gonna let it be what it is. Hey Victoria, how's it going? Actually, I think it's gonna work. Awesome. Yes. Yes, awesome. Awesome. Hey April, how's it going? Okay. Perfect. I was successfully able to share that in my public page, so awesome. Hey, how's it going? So, basically, just to kind of recap, because now you guys are starting to roll in. Hey, April. Hey, Victoria. So, I was talking about how typically when it comes to like definitions and the needing to define things in the spiritual community, people get really hung up on semantics, and they get really hung up on the need to be right. And when you read about your higher self in different articles and different blogs and different areas, the definition is going to differ and contrast. But the thing that I feel like we can all agree upon is that your higher self is an extension of your soul, of who you are at soul level. So it's the part of yourself that's completely free from lack and limitations and ego and mental conditioning, right? So it's the part of you that knows your soul gifts. It's the part of you that knows how to best apply your gifts, your talents on earth to really make an impact on the world, to create the life that is aligned with you, to create a life that's balanced and whole. So it's through creating that connection that we really start to free ourselves from blocks. It's through that connection that we start to really connect to what our purpose is, to really connect to how to live our life in complete and full alignment. Shifting to get comfortable. And so that's basically the crux of your higher self, basically. And so a lot of us, most of us, we walk around feeling very disconnected to our higher self, our soul, and our intuition, because intuition is a big part of how we connect to this energy and access this information, because we are conditioned at a very young age. So we go through mental conditioning, and we're very disempowered to live from a space of our intuition and our heart, because we're told that we have to live rationally and we have to use our conscious rational mind to make decisions, and to make decisions from a place of intuition, a place of being intuitive, I should say, that's something that's very frowned upon and looked down on as children. So we get really nervous to tap into our intuition because we're fearful of being wrong, because we go through being wrong as the consequences of being wrong when we were younger is that we get punished. We get the bad grades, we fail the test, we get in trouble, we get grounded, we get spanked, we get beat. So a lot of that really carries on to our adolescence and our adulthood. So we really get fearful of tapping into our intuition. But the greatest way to really connect to your purpose and to really connect to your divine gifts is to connect to that higher self, to really connect to that extension of your soul that knows, that extension of your soul that has been with you for lifetimes, that has that divine information to really live your calling. Because one of the things, her name is Rebecca Campbell, that she talks about in her book Light is the New Black, which I love, is that she talks about how you've been working on you for lifetimes. So it's tapping into that ancient part of yourself. And so that's part of the reason why I think it's difficult for us to relearn that part of ourselves. And so I almost said free, but yes, this is free, but I should say, 3 tips, I should say, to connect with your higher self. And I have a free e-guide and guided meditation to help you with this, and I'll put the link in it in the comments below. And so if you're really feeling this, feel free to tap the hearts and give me some feedback if you're ready to go into these 3 practical, useful tips to apply to really connect to your higher self. And so the first one is to be open. And so that's something that can seem pretty obvious or very lackluster, but that's really the biggest, one of the most important parts of really diving into your intuition and really strengthening your intuition, is the first being open to receive that information. So I know it sounds lame, but it's through that willingness that's that most important step in that process, because you have to be willing to do the work to change. You have to be willing to take the necessary steps, because if you're not willing, you're not going to receive that information. You're not going to trust that information enough to act on it, because you still are in that wishy-washy, skeptical place. And it's okay to still be a skeptic and to be weary and to be a little fearful, because a lot of this can be really scary depending on what your experiences are. But it's that openness and that willingness that's going to make that information come a lot more easier to you, so that you can be in flow. So we often forget how monumental and how life-changing it is to just ask for the help, because the universe and your spirit guides and your higher self, they understand and respect the law of free will. So the idea that if you don't want to do something, or if you're not open to something, that they're not going to assert themselves or assert that information into your energy and into your life. So when you're open and you're ready and you're willing, that's going to make it much easier for that information and for that guidance to come to you. So the first step is to be open. And the second step is going to involve a certain level of meditation. Like I said, I do have a guided meditation that I will put the link in the comments below. And if you're watching the replay, it's going to be in the pinned comment on the top of the comment section. And so you can sit with yourself and meditate for a few minutes. And if you're not a big meditator, and if you still deal with the monkey mind, you can do there's 7 grounding breaths. So what you can do is you'll just sit with yourself, and you want to do this in a place where you know you're not going to be disturbed. So you want to get away for at least 3 to 5 minutes for this, and you're just going to sit And take a deep breath in, hold, and release and exhale through your mouth. So deep breath in, and exhale. And deep breath in, and exhale. So you're going to go in through your nose, out through your mouth for a good, 6 or 7 times until you get that grounded feeling. And you're just going to settle in and just focus on the center of your chest. And you're going to ask yourself, what do I need to know about insert the blank? Or what do I need to know about X, Y, and Z? Right? And so you can get out your journal and write it down. And write down what do I need to know about, and just sit in meditation, or just think of, or whatever the first thing that you feel is, and just write that down regardless of whether or not it makes sense. Because oftentimes intuition makes the most impact, especially when it doesn't make sense, right? So not really trying to make sense of it or to put a label on it, or releasing the control over it. Just watch what comes up about what you asked for. And that goes into the third point, which is to trust your guidance and act accordingly. So the trusting the guidance and the action on it. The action is usually the biggest part where people get tripped up, and the biggest part where people kind of get a little weary, because that's where that fear, what we talked about earlier, of that conditioning comes in, and that fear of being wrong comes in, right? So here's the thing that I want to talk about, the difference between intuition and your mind, because a lot of people oftentimes get into that questioning part of, well, I feel like I'm just making this up, right? So that's like usually the most common thing that people talk about when they're developing their intuition, is I feel like I'm just making this up, and I just want this to be the answer. So the biggest way to tell the difference is that intuition is very feeling based, and it's an inner knowing. So there's no emotion attached to it, really. Whereas your mind and your ego has all these negative attachments to it. There's a lot of control, there's a lot of forceful energy behind it, but your intuition, ultimately, there's no emotional charge behind it. It's just an inner gut knowing. So do this process and see how you feel, and use this part to assess what you're feeling. Mama D, how's it going? Thanks for joining live. I love you. Hey, Mama D. So going back to trusting that guidance, right? So we talked about the difference between intuition and the ego. And so in doing that, whatever it is that you get, whatever message comes to you from asking yourself, what do I need to know about blank or X, Y, and Z, is to then go in and whatever you get, to apply it. Just treat it as an experiment, right? So treat it as, this is not me telling you what to do or telling you that this is the truth. Take the time to actually use this information and apply it for a week. Give yourself 7 days, apply it for a week. Hey, Tony, and see what you get. See how it reigns true for you. Witness and allow your experience to be the evidence for you. Don't just take my word for it. Don't take this as Simran just talking at you, right? Really test it out for yourself. I'm very much a huge, oh, I love you. So take this as just basically your experiment to trust your truth, right? Because my biggest message is trust your truth, get real with your soul, and serve the world boldly. So it's that trusting your truth aspect and seeing how it reigns true for you. And so this is the biggest way that I've found to really connect with the higher guidance and to really kickstart that intuitive development process, to really get acquainted with your intuition. And what better way than to connect with your higher self? Because your higher self knows more about you than even your angels. If you connect to angels, your spirit guides, any other light beings that you work with, your higher self is going to know much more about you than you do. Not, I should say than you do, but than they do, is what I meant to say. Because your higher self is you. It is you that is completely void of all blocks, restrictions, conditioning, all that jazz, right? So it has all the tea to spill about your purpose in your life. So number one. So if you found value in this live video, please share it out to your people, share this message of awesomeness. If you aren't connected to my page, perhaps also teaching to shut it out if you need to. I still get migraines and shut out to recharge. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a whole nother live, but ultimately that's definitely a different subject, but I feel you. But this is ultimately to get connected for those who aren't connected and have no idea where to start. So we can definitely talk about that in the Soul Warrior Tribe. So if you aren't connected to my page, please click like. Please click the notification, turn on notifications so you can get all the notifications of when I'm live. And also, if you haven't already, and if you're looking for a resource to really apply this information, I have a free guided meditation called the Soul Blueprint Attunement Meditation. It's part of my higher purpose connection kit. The link will be in the comments below. So put yes in the comments if that's something that you are interested in, and I will send you the link in the reply for you to sign up. It's free, and it has the link to connect with the free Soul Warrior Tribe Facebook group where I do individual lives there and I dive deeper into this subject. So without further ado, I will let you guys go. Put yes in the comments if that's something that you desire. I love you guys so much, and it was wonderful jamming with you. So I love you, and I will send you on your way. Thanks for taking your time to hang out with me. Peace.